Hello, everybody. Let's make sure my audio is working. Happy Monday, happy Tuesday. If you're on my side of the planet, good to see everybody. Thanks for coming. Thanks, Amerga. That's really fast feedback. You typed audio working fast. Usually there's like a 30-second delay. Maybe that's just on YouTube. Maybe Twitch is faster. Very cool. How's everybody doing? It's been a while. Has it been a while? Did I do this last week? I can't even remember. Things are blurring a little bit. I was just sitting here trying to decide what to do. We've got more stuff we can do with our short film series. It's probably good just to keep pushing with that, but I also don't want to get too far ahead of my edits. My edits have fallen behind a little bit. So, anybody have any good ideas for random tutorials or things you'd like to see me try? Yeah, I don't know if I'd call it a schedule, Merga. On Twitch, Merga says, with the new schedule, I'm not sure if I've missed one stream or not. It's a bit haphazard at the moment. I mean, if I think I'm missing streams, then yeah, you're definitely probably thinking the same. Highway 250 says I'd love to see some Sims. Okay, that could be cool. I could talk a bit about doing Sims. That's an idea. Last time we did the trash heap, so we used geometry nodes to create a giant trash heap, which was cool. Turned out pretty good. So the next thing on the list for the short film series is to make the conveyor belt, and possibly the atom smasher at the end. I'm trying to think what else there would be to do. I think that's pretty much it. Like once we've got that made, then what we can do is start putting our sets together. So that's what we could. Transforming robot. Oh, that's a cool one. Sound Kaiser. That'd be tough. Procedural rocket booster exhaust. That's a cool suggestion, Casey. Hi from France, says Weldred34. Hello, bonjour. Hi from Uganda, says Kazakh 3D. That's cool. Sorry, Kazakh 3D. All right. Let's have some fun. I'm doing good, Burning Bright. How are you? Thanks for coming, everybody. I do. We could also just do like a simple modeling exercise. I was thinking about it'd be a good tutorial to model a laptop. Is that exciting? I don't know. It's hard to come up with these constantly. Hey, Quasi. Good to have you. Mike likes the procedural rocket booster. So what would we be doing there? Let's think. What does it even mean? Procedural rocket booster. Some not sure what we're making yet. Kazak. Just pulling up some images. Get rid of this. Stream starts soon. So that's a. These are all rocket boosters. It's not a lot to them. I mean, there's a lot to that one, but sci-fi sword, that'd be cool. We're trying to come up with what to do. What's that? These are cool. The booster, that style that they've got with the ribbed design. It's really neat. I don't really feel like doing any smoke and fire though. I find that stuff boring. It's really like you run it and you run it again, you run it again, you run it again. Hmm. Sci-fi police drone with side guns. Nice. I mean, it's an interesting thought trying to think of how to do the exhaust procedurally. There was a cool effect that I ran into once. Just to know that would actually work. I think it would. The exhaust could be done with an animated shader. Yeah, it could be. Um, it's it's there's a couple things about it though that would always kind of make it fall short of looking good, and it is kind of one of those things. It's like if you've got the sim tools under the hood to use, you might as well just use those. But I'm just thinking if like would there be some method of using geometry nodes, possibly. I think it would take too long. Um, I think what we're gonna do. I saw a cool picture the other day. Um, don't clip that, Ostaka. uh, simple sunglasses, sci-fi science lab. It's real good ideas. You guys should start YouTube channels. Oh, thanks, Waldred. Appreciate it. I like you too. Lego brick. Oh, that's cool, actually. Lego brick. I did a cool ad once where we had a bunch of Lego bricks that were like falling and stuff. That could be a good tutorial, like how to do Lego bricks falling and scattering everywhere. Then we could do some dynamics because they're pretty straightforward. Lego bricks kind of cool because you can. It's actually kind of a tricky modeling trick. Like it's the circle objects on top of a rectangle. It's kind of tough. I don't know. Anybody vote one for Lego brick falling dynamics shot. Vote two for let's model a laptop. Um, and vote three for some kind of organic plant thing. Go. One, two, or three. I'll give it a second. See what you guys say. We've spent 20 minutes trying to figure this out. So it's pretty split. I think the ones have it. I'll give it another second. 2 seconds, 3 seconds. Oh, a couple of threes popping in there. All right, let's count it up. We've got the ones. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then we've got 1, 2, 3, 6 votes for three. So the threes, I think the threes have it. No. You guys didn't hear. You're double voting. Makes it tough to count. Oh, did Welter just flip to three? So everyone wants to see the got more votes for the weird plant thing. Plants are cool. All right, so we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7. Yeah, we had 7 for one, and threes. We had 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I think the threes have it. All right. I'll just show you real quick how to do a Lego brick. If you just this and this, and then actually two. That, that. I'm doing Control R to get that. And then you would have to take this and oh no, you'd have to go like that and then like that. And then you take this and you go F3 to sphere. You do that. And then you just extrude, grab Z, bring it up. That's typically how you can get a circle out of a cube. There are cleaner ways of doing it, but if you want to make it fall, just turn on dynamics. Collision, or not collision, sorry. Rigid body. Plane. Make that a collision. Oh, didn't work. It totally works though. Oh, that's right. You can't do a collision. You got to go rigid body, passive. That's it. So, anyway, there you go. It's a freebie. All right. I'm going to delete all this stuff out and start recording just in case we end up with a tutorial. Hello and welcome to another exciting Blender tutorial. Today we're going to make a 3D plant gelatinous blob thing. Let's get started. All right, so I saw this really cool photo the other day of this like gelatin plant mold thing, and I just thought it was really cool. So I'm not going to make that as much. I'm going to make something that's inspired by it. Yeah, it'll be a good chance to talk about a couple of cool materials, how to make some cool stuff. We'll set up a nice shot, hopefully. It'll be nice. It'll be nice. First thing I'm going to do is actually, I'm going to create a camera. I actually want to start with a camera. I'm going to turn on my screencast keys so you can see. And I had a request on the last tutorial to make these bigger. So let me see what's the best way to make this bigger. Font size and mouse size. Let's try the mouse bigger like that. Go 50. Probably go bigger. Oh, it's font size as big as it goes. Nice. Is that too big? I don't know. What do you guys think? Okay, so I'm going to start with a camera. So I'm going to go Shift A and I'm going to grab a camera. I'm going to jump into it and then I'm going to open up my side panel. You can just drag it out or you can hit in and I'm going to lock my camera to view. I'm just going to come out a little bit like this. And I'm going to create a surface that this thing is going to be on. And I don't know what we're going to end up with today. It's going to be interesting. Something like this. And I also want to go ahead and get an HDR in place for my world background. I'm going to go to switch to rendered view. Come over to my renderer. I'm going to use Eevee for this. I'm going to turn on ambient occlusion, bloom, and screen space reflections. And then I'm going to pop over to HDRI Haven. There we go, HDR Haven. It's also called Polyhaven now. That's right, Polyhaven. They've rebranded. So I'm going to browse their HDRIs. This is great. You can get all these for free. They're really awesome. They run it all through Patreon, so support them if you can. They're really amazing. Just want a forest. This is probably good. See if there's any others that. Oh, that garden might be nice. That could be good too. Lush dirt path. I think I'll go for this one. And I will download. Yeah, sure, why not? We'll go for the. Actually, I don't need 4K. I'll go with 2K. That should be good enough. So I will download that. And I'm going to put it in the background of my world, right? So I need to go to my world shader to do that. So I'm going to split my view. And you get that split by going to the bottom corner of any window. And you get a little plus symbol. And you click and drag. And you can expand the window or collapse it. So if I drag back, if I drag away, it's going to expand. If I drag back at... All right, well, it's not working for me there. There we go. If you drag over, you get this tiny little arrow right there. And that'll get rid of windows. Anyways, let's pull up the shader editor. And I'm going to take this and I'm going to switch it from object mode to world mode. Here's my world shader. This is giving me the lovely gray background that you see. And I'm going to come over here and grab I want to grab a texture, an environment texture. And I will open that texture we just downloaded. What's it called? Studio Garden. Where is it? There we go. Open. Now it's set to linear, so that's good. That's what we want. This is an HDRI, which is a high dynamic range image. So we need to have linear color space for that. And I'm going to plug the color into the color right here. And bada bing, bada boom. We've got we've got it in our background. Now I want to grab a mapping node and a texture coordinate node. And I'll plug the generated into the vector and then the vector into the vector. And I'm going to just use this to rotate around to find a nice angle. Move it. Now we're going to blur this out, so I'm not really too worried about what you can see here. Just thinking about the texture of the shot. All right, that's good. I'm going to click on my camera and I'm going to come to my camera tab and I'm going to go to viewport display and I'm going to turn up passport 2 all the way up to 1 just to block out the rest of my view. Also, I'm going to make sure I've got block camera to view turned off and then I can zoom in just to expand the size of that view. And then let's think about this thing. I want this just to be kind of like a generic surface that my object is, the plant thing is growing on. Want this to look like. Let's switch over to the object shader. Let's create a new shader. This is just for this surface here. And I'm thinking this is going to be kind of like a wood grain kind of thing, possibly. So what do I want? I'm going to grab a Voronoi. And I'll grab I'll just type 2. I'll use 2 Voronois. And so let's plug this into the emission just so we can really see it clearly. I'm going to plug the distance into the emission. And then I'm going to plug the, I'm going to grab a color ramp. And I'll drop it right here so I can create some contrast. Kind of see that there is something going on. I'll also plug it into the base color, then you can really see what's going on. And I'll take this one, do this little trick where we plug in the position of the other one, or the color, into the vector. It'll give us this like crazy, crazy double up of stuff. I'll switch this from F1 to, let's see, let's go. I'm just going to cycle through the different options. See what it looks like. That's kind of a cool texture. Huh. Actually, that's a really cool texture. Just thinking all the ways we could use that. All right, let's check out the color into the vector. Be a very different look. Yeah, look at that. So that's Manhattan. Let's go back to Euclidean. Yeah, that's more organic. Back into our camera view. What would happen if we go for a texture coordinate and a mapping node? Take generated into the vector, vector into the vector. It does look like frosted glass, Mike. It's kind of cool. Hey, Blue Jay, we're just having some fun. We're going to make like a weird plant thing. It's like a gelatinous thing. I'm not sure. You'll see. That's a very good point, America. Why use 2K resolution if I'm going to just blur the background? You know, you got me. Could have gone with 1. Try scaling. Yeah, that's kind of cool. Go the other way with it. Those after. I was thinking it's like some kind of like wood-like surface. Feel like we could have a little bit more noise in there, maybe. Let's grab a noise. No, wait, noise. Just regular noise. Noise texture. Throw this down. Let's grab a mix RGB and we'll drop this here. We're just doing this cool trick where we mix in some noise into the vector, which the vector is what decides how this thing is placed. And you can see it just creates some crazy stuff. And I'm just going to bring it in a little bit and I'll turn the scale right up so that we get like a lot of little jaggies there. I turn the roughness up and the detail. And then I can turn this factor right down and just bring it on a little bit. And you see what it does is it just kind of introduces a little bit of noise into the shape of what we had, which makes it look just a little bit more organic, which is nice. All right, so let's figure out what to do with this. Let's take this. Let's come up with some colors first. I'm going to unplug the emission. And I'll go for, let's try and get some kind of wood thing going. Shouldn't go full black. It's not really realistic, is it? I should probably add in another color as well. Maybe swing the hue off of that a little bit. Switch this to ease. It's a bit smoother between the different colors. No, we could increase that contrast by bringing that in together. That's probably a pretty good idea. Okay, I can grab a color ramp again, just a plain old black and white one. Plug the distance back in here. And then we can use this to drive a bit of bump. Plug it into the height and then this into the normal. This will give us the bump. And then let's take my distance down to 0.1. That just really helps with materials and textures if you have your bump set to like a really small distance, because often like it's set to 1, which works on a large scale. So if we're working on large objects, we're kind of really small, right? So by bringing that distance down, you get to see the fall off a bit better on the bump. Play with that strength some, and then let's see. Bring the roughness down. We start getting the reflection of that HDRI in the background. Just nice. Looks kind of like a varnished wood sort of surface, which is kind of cool. Let's go ahead and take our camera and let's turn on depth of field and bring the focus distance up so that we're focusing on this foreground area. And then let's take this aperture down to like 1 maybe. Also turn off all that stuff. That's pretty good. I go back to my world shader and just adjust the position of this thing. I might put all these back to 0 again and just rotate around, see what we can find. And just look at how the light reacts. I think that's quite nice. They want some greenery in the background though. You could always just do that. That's kind of nice, isn't it? back to my shader. And all right, we should actually make the actual thing that's going to be the focal point of our image. So let's see. I am going to just see how this goes. What do I want? I'm going to grab a what? I want something that's like kind of like a round shape. I'm just thinking this might be better if we make some kind of vine system. We could do that. Like, you know, sometimes vines or not vines, but like roots grow out onto a surface. I would do that. Let's do a couple vines. We'll come up with some kind of focal point, maybe a flower or something. Let me go for a Bezier curve. And I'll come over here to geometry under the curve tab. And I'll take the depth up a little bit. Like this. Grab it up so it's sitting on the table. Go into edit mode. And I'll hit E to extrude, grab Shift Z. And just kind of position this. Kind of snaking fashion. We'll put some more in. Let's go ahead and get a material though for this. So I'm gonna, with that selected, I'll come to my material tab, click new, and let's come to the base color. Actually, just pick something from the background. That'll help tie it all in. Although maybe a bit less saturation. Go ahead and turn off all my controls and stuff so I can really just see what the image looks like. Now I'm going to bring that specular down. And it's not going to be a perfect surface, right? It needs to have some texture to it. Let me pull up an image of a vine. Let's see. I'm not going to get a close-up image, am I? Here we go. We could use something like this as the basis for it. So we've got like a kind of road pattern. Creates this kind of texture. It also has like it tapers off as it goes, doesn't it? Which we can get that. We can make that happen. Go into edit mode. I'll just pop out my camera. I wonder, does proportional editing work if we... Yeah, it does. So what I'm doing is I'm using Alt S, which is the hotkey to scale down the taper of a spline. It's a very specific hotkey. And then I've turned on proportional editing. So if I hit Alt S with that last one selected, I can roll my mouse wheel to expand my selection, and it'll make all of these taper progressively. So now we get this nice tapered effect. Also, we can kind of see the jagged edges. So I'm going to come over here and I need to expand the resolution. I think it's here. Yeah, just need to turn that up. 64 should be good. Max it out. All right, now let's get that pattern going. So we'll try, probably going to be a Voronoi again. Or maybe a Musgrave, or maybe a Noise. What do I think? I think Voronoi. Voronoi is usually the way to go when it comes to organic stuff. So I'll grab my Voronoi. I'll just play with this directly into the bump. Take the distance into the height, normal into the normal. Again, we're going to make the distance small. And I'll bring the scale of this right up. And then what I want to do is I go smooth F1 and do that same trick again. Double up, put something else into the vector. Because that really looks right. Look at these nice veins. Now we could go with that same kind of vibrant green. In fact, let's just grab one of these colors. And then we'll also have some subsurface scattering. So I'll go ahead and turn that up. Now, subsurface scattering allows light to penetrate into an object. I can just turn it up a little bit. That'll give us just some. And then I could pick a nice green maybe for the interior. Makes it look kind of fleshy and it's nice. Turn the specular up so we get that nice glossy feel to it. And I might bring the roughness. Too far, something like that. Looks pretty good. Thinking this thing needs some like little hairs possibly. Have it intersect the table a little bit. Let's I might place a few more of these first up. So I'm going to Shift E to duplicate, grab, and then Shift Z, which locks it from moving on the Z, like it prevents it from moving on the Z plane. And then I can just position a few more of these. Do the same thing when I'm in edit mode. I'll turn off proportional editing. Cool if one was like kind of growing over another one. Let's try that. You can see if I scale, it's gonna actually scale those handles down, which is nice. And then what I might do is, can you use the knife tool? I'll just select these 3 points and then go F3 subdivide. And that'll put another point in between each of those. And then what I can do is bring this down. And that'll allow me to kind of sculpt this point that goes up. It's kind of cool. Just going to expand it out a little bit. It's better. Same here. Pop this up and increase the number of subdivisions. This one up, scale it down. See how handy it is, that grab Shift Z trick. It really comes in handy. I'm just kind of positioning it to camera a little bit. Cool. I feel like they're floating just a little bit, so I'm just gonna bring them down some more. Just intersect. Okay, now. Thinking if we make like a leaf now. To like come off these stems. I'm gonna lock my camera to view. I'm gonna have a quick look. Also gonna come over to my depth of field. Let's see. High quality. Do the jitter. Jitter's really nice. Let me see. Let's come over here. I'm going to give myself 8 blades. The depth of field aperture. And I think what I'll do now is I'll take these guys and I'm going to create a new collection. I'll put all these in it just to save them here. And then I'll create another collection and I'll duplicate them and grab them in, and then I'm going to F3 convert to mesh. And these are all going to become mesh objects. Now I've got these. If I need to go back, I'll just turn off. Now that they're mesh objects, what I can do is I can select one of these here and I can go to the particle setting and click new, switch it to hair, and add some hair, except I've added it to the plane, which I don't want. Add it to one of these guys. There we go. Wait, one. All right, now let's see. Emit from probably face is a good idea. Random. Get rid of even distribution. And then we need to make these hairs, they need to be probably a little bit longer and they need to be thinner. So I'm going to come over to the hair shape and I'll take the diameter root. I'm going to hold down shift and drag this down. I don't know if this is going to matter much. Doesn't look like it's doing much for us. Let's go to children and simple or interpolated maybe. Turn that length up. You can also do clumping and roughness. A lot of these, like, they all do specific stuff, but I can never remember what they all do. So often I just jump in and mess around. All right, there we go. Curl. I got way too many. I'm gonna make sure these match as well. We need to increase the segments on them. So let's see. We do that at hair shape, maybe? No. Import display, strand steps. Increase that up to like 6 or 7. And then I'll come back down to my curl here. Turn the amplitude down. That'll shrink the size of that curl. Pretty cool. And then we could take the maybe up a bit more. Nah, don't want to go too well with it. We also need a proper material for these guys. I'll go ahead and apply it to this as well. So I can just go to this drop down. What's it called? This is particle settings 01. We just call this fur. Each of these. And then I'm going to come over here to the material tab. I'm going to click plus to create a new material. And I will grab the principled, what's it called? Shader. This is like principled hair shader? No? Where is it? Oh, there used to be a hair shader. Volume, transparent. I guess we don't need that anymore. I still will create another material. I'll just grab the same one that we're using here, but I'll click the little double paper icon. And then what I can do is I can come to the fur settings and let's see, render. I can select which material I want to use. So I'll use this other one here. Oh no, not that one. What's it called? Material 4. Oh yeah, there you go. Principled hair is cycles only. Thanks, Emerd. I wondered. Now, I'm not sure why it has changed so dramatically from material 2. Oh, I'm only affecting one of them. Why? I need to select all these guys. Hold down the Alt key and, oh, that's why each of these don't have that material on it. Right. That makes sense. All right, so I need to select all these, making sure that this one is the active one. So it's the lighter color orange. And then I can click on this little drop down and go copy materials to selected. That will stick it over there. Now they'll all have this material. Now I can adjust this particular one. This just gives me a little bit of control. I can add more to it. Now I'm going to adjust these particles again. I'm going to come back down here. Keep it at 1,000, I think. Hi, Comic Sans. Welcome. Just messing around. Thought I'd make some plant-like stuff. Gone off on this tangent making these vines, and I'm doing little hairs on the vines, seeing if I can get it to look right. I feel like they're still too thick, you know, like the actual frequency. Not sure why this doesn't. Maybe this is just something that only really works in cycles. Because I'm not seeing any visual update on the size of these guys. Try bringing their alpha down. Come over to the options and go alpha hashed. Making them a little bit transparent, kind of make them more subtle, which is what we want because they're just like popping out way too much. I'm going to make sure my render and display mount match so that when I render it looks the same. Yeah, I think that's a lot better. Your depth of field might be a little bit too hot. Blasting everything. This is looking really nice though. Look at that. That looks quite real. It's good. I feel like these guys need some color variation. What I'll do is I'll grab a color ramp. And I like the color they've got, so I'll grab this one. I might grab it for both ends of the color ramp. And then I could just darken off one part of it. Pop the distance in here and then bring that in as the color. That'll just give us a little bit more variation. Take this one and just shift the hue a little bit. A little bit darker. Try plugging this into the subsurface, or actually what I'll do is I'll just make a second color ramp. Grab that and grab that one more time. And I'll do the same thing. I'll darken up this one and shift the hue a touch. And I'll plug this into the subsurface. What happens if we go bright on that? It's really cool looking. I want to take one of these. I just feel like playing with the shape of one of these a little bit. So I'm going to grab another one. Go into edit mode and I'm going to select all these points here and just delete them. So just got 2. And I'm going to make this one really small. I'm going to try and do the curl. I'll keep it uniform for now. And then we could do that. Oh, no, I'll taper it. Thanks, Present Cheek. There is audio anonymous. I'm just not talking much. I'm in the zone. I don't know if this will turn into an actual tutorial. This might just be something for the Patreon. Because, as you may or may not know, if you're on the Patreon and you've joined at the second tier, you get project files every month. So if you ever like what you see, consider popping over there, joining up for a month, and getting that month's project files. They're always a good time. just going to bring this in. That. Grab one more. It's kind of nice if it's not perfect. Like there's. We go even further with this though. Subdivide it. I think. Let's grab these. Not too sure. This video, I will probably take this one down. Live streams I take down, and I put them up just for everybody that's a channel member or people on Patreon. But I'll probably keep it up for a little bit, like about a 12-hour, 24-hour period. But you can also find it on Twitch. So stay up a little bit longer on Twitch. So if you head over to twitch.com/cbaileyfilm, you can find the latest live streams there. They live there a little bit longer than they do on YouTube. But if you'd like to get any from the backlog, that's where you have to join either Patreon or on YouTube. Thanks for asking. I don't know. What do you guys think? Kind of only looks good from this angle. All right, let's take this and let's shift it to duplicate, bring it over to here, F3 convert, mesh, and let's pop the second plant material on there, and then grab the particle system. Pretty intense on this one. So I think what I'll do is I'll duplicate the particle system and I'll bring the number down and I'll bring the size. I should probably do it in the parent section. So down to the children, take the length down. Just a little bit like that. It's a bit easier if you turn off your controls. You can actually see what things look like. I feel like the bump and stuff on this one's really changed a lot because of the size of this object. So I think I'll come up here, duplicate the material again, so I'm not affecting everything else, and then change these scales a little bit. Maybe 50, 30. Take my distance down and the strength down a little bit. And then bring the specular down some. It's a bit too hot on that thing, I think. Looks better. But the position of it's not great. That's right, we gotta hide that collection. Just forgot. Doesn't really look like it's growing out of anything. I duplicate it and set my origin to geometry. That'll make it a bit easier to control. Look how crazy that is from the side. That's funny. Just gonna put one kind of close to camera. Silly. This is a very interesting image. What I'm doing now is I'm just kind of I'm looking for a frame. Just kind of playing with what we've got, looking at it from different angles, and thinking about where I might want to take the image or where I might want to land it. Go the other way with it. What happens if we like really zoom in? Might increase the subsurface on these guys as well. Yeah. DNA MOZ D, DNA MODZZ. This is Evie. Yeah. I feel like the composition's off a little bit. Maybe. I feel like we need like some kind of flower. Not sure what we're making, Ben. Just kind of having fun. We're doing some vines at the moment. Doing some like really up close sort of macro photography. I like this wood. I thought the wood turned out really nice. It looks pretty good. So we make it bigger. And then increase the distance. That's pretty cool. Really bringing out that texture a bit more for us. Yeah, good idea, Ben. We should do some emission on the end of the thing. Sorry, I'm not talking to anybody. I'm in full experimental mode now. Just curious why we're getting a different result from these guys versus this guy. It's nice seeing the two of them there. That looks pretty good. That's right. 11 times I've switched gardening. That's cool with that little pinpoint light. You can really see the subsurface scattering in there. Can't see you guys, so. Well, this was kind of fun. Bit random. It was fun to play around with some organic shapes and do some cool vine stuff. It was neat. I like the fur on the vines. I think that turned out pretty cool. Yeah, I like this. I think it's all right. I think it's pretty cool. I don't know. What do you guys think? We didn't get very far in terms of plants. We kind of got bogged. I got bogged down in this one little adventure, but I like the glow. That was a cool idea. It looks nice. I think it turned out well. Anyways, thanks for joining me today. Sorry it wasn't action packed. I'm gonna save this out and stick it over on the Patreon for everybody over there, so I can play with these shaders. But thanks for joining me today, and stay tuned. I've got more episodes coming of the Make Your Own Short Film series. I've got a couple more. I'm working on the next one, editing still, so they're taking a little bit longer to edit. But I hope to have that out pretty soon for you guys. So you can check it out and continue that series. I'm enjoying making it, so it's been fun so far. Looking forward to getting into animation. We're gonna have some cool fun with that when we finally get there. So, but yeah. Anyways, thanks for joining. I will catch you in the next live stream. Until then, I'll see you later. Bye.